Do you want to go over that real quick so we don't sound stupid? Or
Oh yeah, it'd be cool.
That might be a good idea.
Welcome to Maker's Hustle, the podcast about turning your passion into a profession. This is episode 17 for Monday, November 7th, 2016. I'm your host, Bill Lavolsi. Here are my co-hosts, Amy Davis-Roth. Hey, Amy.
Hey, hey, hey.
And Jeffrey Moore. Hey, Jeff.
She took my intro. I was thinking about the hey. She took my intro, so now I just have to say one hey.
That was two.
That was two.
All right. Two heys.
This week, we also have a special guest joining us, so please welcome Laura Kampf. Hey, Laura.
Hello.
Round of applause, everybody. Laura Kampf.
Ooh, yeah. Ladies are taking over.
So before we get rolling, I want to take a moment to thank our top Patreon supporter, Luis Gonzalez, and new supporters for this week, Matt Scranton and Elaine Go. So thank you all very much.
Ooh,
Hello, everybody.
thank
Welcome
you.
to the family.
Yeah, that's great.
If you would like to support the show, check us out at patreon.com/makershustle. We give away all sorts of cool stuff all the time, so you don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah. Should we give something away?
We just gave something away last week. Did we give something away the week
all
before?
the time. We give stuff away all the time. So now
You
you're
know what?
just straight up
You're
lying
right.
to the
Screw
people.
it. Let's give something away.
All right.
Make it worth their while.
Why wasn't I prepared for this?
I am going to give away a necklace and a bunch of stickers. And Laura is going to pick the number of the winner.
Ooh.
Yeah, so pick a number
4.
between... Okay.
Oh.
That's fine. We're gonna go
I like
with
that.
4.
Decisiveness. I like that.
It's not the number that I was thinking in my head. It's good.
Is 4
It's
okay?
good. Yeah, 4's
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
4 is Brian Prusa. Congratulations, Brian.
Cool.
Yay!
Way to go, Brian.
Congrats, Brian.
Yeah.
So, Brian, let me check real quick. We need your address. So I will get in touch with you, and we'll get that going.
And
Or
then
you
I
can
will
contact
send you
one of
some-
us, and we will send you some cool stuff.
I will send you some cool stuff.
We. We.
It's a team effort.
Wait, it's a team. I'm sorry.
Laura picked the number. I found the number. We all applauded. So, we.
I'm really good at shipping.
I'm not so good at shipping.
No,
That's
I was
right.
in the post office. I was in the post office for an hour today. Like
Why?
the lines were crazy. I live in the Bronx, so the lines were crazy. Number one. Number
Okay.
two, I could not find anybody's address.
Because you didn't look those up before you went to the post
Yes, I
office.
forgot to do that.
Oh,
I forgot to.
my
And then I
goodness.
didn't have a pin. What post office doesn't have pin? You know how they usually have the pins chained to the tables? There
Yeah.
were no pins chained to the tables. So I had to beg people for a pin.
Did they at least
Stamp.
have an empty chain, like that the pen was stolen, or did they haven't?
It depends on what table you went to. Some had the empty chain. Some had the chain with the pin broken in half. I was like, oh.
Ours has the chain with the pen, and the pen is out of ink and has been for like 2 years. So every time I go in there and I go, maybe this time it'll work, and then it doesn't.
It doesn't work. Yeah, so
I have not even seen the inside of a post office in like 5 years.
You do it all from home, or?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, man. Do you have somebody come and pick your stuff up?
Yeah, it's called a mail person.
What? They only bring the stuff.
No.
They pick it up too.
They pick it up too. I am really nice to my mail people, and I tip them at the holidays.
Oh.
And you can schedule a pickup with your local post office, and they will come to your house anytime you want. You can go to stamps.com, and you
All
can do all
right,
this.
there you go.
You can
They're not
print-
paying us.
I was asking, like, do you get a digital scale with this?
You have to get your own scale, but you can do all of it at home, and that's what I've been doing for 5 years.
And we would be happy to tell you all about it as soon as they cut us a check. In the meantime, figure it out yourself. So, hey, what's everybody working on this week? Laura, you're the guest of honor. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, this week is a bit different than the rest of my weeks because I'm traveling to Paris tomorrow to meet Christiana from Get Hands Dirty and to meet Carlitos, is that right, from Cactus Workshop?
Yeah, Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. Carlos from Cactus Workshop. So I'm excited to see them, and that's why I had to do my taxes yesterday and a bit of today and clean up the workshop, because when I come back from Paris, right away I need to jump into a cab and drive to a junkyard, because then we start shooting this TV thing I talked about, and so it's a lot of stuff going on this week. So I'm not filming anything. I did my video for Sunday last week, so I'm not actually building anything this week.
So you actually got ahead of the schedule on product videos?
Yes, for the first time.
Videos?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, but it will be gone next week. So.
That's great, though.
Yeah, it's cool.
So for the people who don't know, tell us a little bit about this TV show.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, I guess that's how it is working with TV. It kind of keeps changing a little bit all the time. But basically what we're doing is having two groups of kids, and I will take them to a junkyard, and they pick their stuff, and they're supposed to build different things and then compete against each other, like who builds it better or nicer or faster. It's kind of cool. It's
That's awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it has to be scripted to a certain degree so that it does work at the end, but it's nice. I get to design the stuff, at least to a certain point, and then we're shooting in my shop as well, and it's working with kids. I'm excited to do that. I've never done that before. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of fun.
I'm about to say, that sounds like the ultimate gig.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see. I can tell you more next week. But.
All right, cool. Maybe we'll just bring you back.
I'm about to say, does that sound? Hey.
That's so cool.
Amy, what are you doing?
What am I doing? Oh, I just finished my book. Well, I wrote the last word for my book, so now it goes to the editor, and the graphic designer are doing the final draft, and I should get like that copy back in about a week or so. So hopefully it's going to go to print soon, and we're going to do it through BookBaby, which is a way of distributing your own self-published books. And I'm really, really, really excited because it's my first book, and I actually finished like the last sentence. So like everything that I need to do is done. The illustrations are all finished. Everything is sent off. So I'm super duper excited about that.
Awesome.
I'm still doing stuff for Redbubble. I sadly did not win the design contest last week, but this week they're having a contest on doing something funny, like any kind of funny illustration. So I'm going to jump in on that sometime this week because I love humor and I love drawing, so I'm going to do that too. And then I just finished drawing Krampus, which I was trying to explain to Laura, which I thought she would understand before we started recording because I was pretty sure that Krampus was from Germany, but I guess I'm wrong. But Krampus, for those of you that don't know, is a half demon, half goat that is paired alongside Old Saint Nick. And actually Krampus predates Christianity. So Krampus was around to scare kids into behaving way before the idea of Santa Claus, which is supposed to encourage kids to be good, and so they'll get gifts. So what Krampus does is he's in charge of the bad kids. So if you're good, Santa Claus brings you gifts, or Old Saint Nick brings you gifts, but if you're bad, Krampus throws you in a sack and takes you away and, I don't know, eats you or something? No one's really sure, but he goes around gathering all the bad children and throwing them in a sack. So I just did a retooling of an illustration I did last year. I redrew it and I colored it in, and it's now on Redbubble, so you can get t-shirts and all kinds of stuff with a really scary Christmas demon, if that's what you're into. If you want to frighten your children into behaving this year.
You want an ugly Christmas? What are they called? Ugly Christmas sweater? Go with Krampus.
Yeah, go with Krampus. Very terrifying. You can see it on my Redbubble shop.
Way to go. All right, so I guess I'll go next. This week was an easy week, and it's only Tuesday, so technically it's okay. This week, I've been working on the project of the book. I'm not anywhere close like Amy is, but I've been working on my little workbook, and I've also looked up a couple of different places. Like I'm trying to do the workshop in a library. So I've gone and did research on a couple of libraries in Harlem. If anybody is listening and they're from Harlem and they know a good a good library that has a lot of like kid traffic, I'm looking to do a workshop in one of those libraries. So I've been planning that a little bit because I think I need to kind of find a way to recruit kids so that I can kind of test out my book and have them kind of do some of the activities and stuff like that. So that's really what this week has been about. Quick and easy.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, let's see. I'm working on a frame for a whiteboard because my wife needs a whiteboard in her cubicle, but they don't.
Oh, I hope you're going to say it was for at home to give you chores. I'm really disappointed.
No, we already have one of those. We have one of those. I already built the frame for that one. But it's not easy to hang stuff on cubicle walls. I didn't realize this, but they're just kind of like squishy. So I'm devising some sort of like hook system that'll go over the top and like hang down, and you can hang stuff off of it.
Okay.
But I think the coolest thing it's just a frame, so it's not that impressive. I think the coolest thing to come out of it was I needed a strap clamp, and I didn't have one.
Oh yeah,
so
I saw that.
I took some rope and some PVC pipe, and I kind of made one real fast. And everybody, I don't know, people thought it was like the coolest thing they'd ever seen. I guess I just kind of hacked it together because I don't have any money.
It was good.
Well, that's what creativity is all about, brother.
Yeah.
Was it strong enough? Like, could you really tighten it up without the PVC opening too much?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, the PVC opens, but I mean, as long as it's still pushing on it, I don't really care.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it doesn't push to the point where it's only pushing on the tip of the corner, that's fine. That's cool.
Right. So yeah, and it was working pretty well, and I checked the diagonals, and everything was working fine. So it's probably dry by now, but I just left it.
Cool.
Did you have to like cut the PVC the specific size so that it fits perfectly in there, or did you just cut it, and if there was space, as long as it touched the corner, you were cool?
Oh, I cut out like a quarter of it just to give it some space, and then when I tightened down on the rope, it kind of spread out. But I'll make sure a picture goes into the show notes. Just so.
Hey, can you really weld together PVC pipe by heating it up like with a hairdryer?
I don't think so.
I saw that on a cartoon, and I just want to know.
Oh,
if it's
I don't
true.
think that works.
Yeah, you need to get a lot hotter than
I'm just
that.
wondering if I'm getting, the correct information by watching Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah. Also,
Or-
if you're super hungry and people turn into ham, that doesn't happen as well.
Okay, all right, good to know. Good to know.
No, the easiest way to connect something like PVC is they call it glue, but it's not really glue. It's solvent welding. You put this stuff on it, and when you stick them together, it melts the two pieces of plastic, and then it becomes one piece of plastic.
So it's like
Couldn't
acid.
you do that by heating it up?
No, because PVC just catches fire.
Oh.
Don't quote me on this. I'm not a material scientist, but there are certain plastics that when you heat them up, they'll melt back down, like HDPE. If you heat it up, it'll melt, and you can reform it or whatever. But other plastics, once they're set, and that's it. And if you heat them up, they just catch fire. So this might be one of the other ones. And I know this from watching Peter Brown videos, because he tried to get the bubbles out of this polyester resin by using a blowtorch, and the resin caught fire, and that was not good. So don't do that, kids.
All right.
That's funny. That was probably one of the shocking moments in the video. He's probably, oh god.
Yeah, it was very, that's fire. Okay, fire.
Well, he was using a blowtorch though, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, oh boy.
Well, you can use a blowtorch to get bubbles out of epoxy, and it's no big deal because it doesn't. Anyway, don't want to have too much of a discussion about fire.
And this concludes our podcast about PVC pipes. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
next
fun.
week.
This week was plastics and fire. Next week is, I don't know. Actually, this week what we're talking about is a topic that Laura came up with, but I'll go ahead and introduce it. And it's concept, communication, continuity, then creativity.
Yes.
It's a totally different C word than we're used to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Got that one. Thank you very much.
So, Laura, you said that this started when people were praising you on what they saw as your creativity.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like, as we're talking about a business perspective, right? So, and I think being creative and having fun with what you do, like that's the core value, of course, that's the core thing. But if you want to turn that into a business, then this is the thing that you worry about the least, I would say, because this is what's expected, kind of, but you need to communicate it, and you need to be continuous with it, and you need to have context for it in order to make it work, in order to make a good video, in order to tell a good story. So I think like if you have a good idea, that doesn't mean that the idea works. So first of all, you have to shift through all these ideas. It's not just like you have to be creative and come up with the craziest stuff. It's come up with cool stuff that also works, that's also doable within a week or whatever your schedule is. And then you need to be able to communicate why this idea is cool or what's so special about it. Otherwise, people won't understand you. And that's like the image of the crazy scientist, who has this super brain and super cool ideas and everything works, but he's not able to communicate that. So everybody thinks it's crazy. So it's kind of that system. It's hard to explain it in such a short, like to wrap it all in one sentence.
Well, yeah. But I spent a lot of time thinking about this leading up to this episode, and I was kind of thinking about how it applied to each of us. Like, Amy, I think you've got this figured out, okay? But, I mean, you've been doing this for longer than any of us, so that figures. But you have, everybody knows what surly-ramics is and what you make there, and it's like you have your art you can wear is trademarked, like that. It tells you what it is right there, right
that's
up front.
perfect.
Yeah. So, and then I was thinking about, like, Jeff and I, it's a little bit different. Like, Jeff, the thing that you're bad at, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Sorry, man.
It's okay.
It's communication, because I keep getting on you about posting stuff on social media, and you never, ever do.
I got a fix for this. I'm about to post something right now.
Oh, yeah, that'll solve it.
That'll solve it.
Yeah.
Also, maybe it's not communication, but documentation of what you do, which is also like a core thing. It's super important.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that I was struggling with for the longest time, just to document what I was doing. And I wasted so many cool projects and so much, potential, just because I was too excited about it. I didn't want to take the time and grab a camera. I just wanted to finish it and see if it works. And then it worked, and I lost interest, and it went into the corner, started the next thing. And that's also nice and enjoyable, but you're wasting a lot of potential.
No, that's absolutely true. That's my problem.
And the thing is, you were saying, you don't go grab a camera, and that is nice and it is enjoyable, but it also doesn't make you any money.
Exactly, yeah.
Because that's the thing that I'm bad with is continuity. Like, I don't ever want to do the same thing more than once. If I do it twice, it's boring.
Yeah, but that's not, maybe that's I don't see continuity in that way. I think it's important to build up a schedule where people know that they will see something from you, and that you don't just it's easy to have one good idea.
I'm bad at that part too.
Okay.
Like getting videos out on a consistent schedule is
But what I'm saying is you don't have to reinvent the wheel because you're so super genius creative. You just have to, I'd rather have 10 bad ideas than one good idea, and take those bad ideas and try to communicate what I think is still cool about that, and bring it into context with my brand and have a continuous thing going on, than just pop up every 2 years with a brilliant idea that I cannot explain to everybody or communicate to anybody, and then I'm gone again. You know what I mean? I think it's more important to actually do the work. That's the key thing of what I'm trying to say, probably.
You just have to sort of build it into a habit of what you do every day. And it doesn't have to be YouTube videos. I know that a lot of us that listen, or a lot of us here, and a lot of people that listen to this podcast make YouTube videos, and that's fantastic. But I don't do that. I do a lot of photography, and it's all about just a repetition. So you just build it into what you do. I post photographs of what I'm doing in the art studio on a daily basis, because one of the things is that I make art every day, and that's part of my brand. So every single day I have to post some art, and I just make sure that I do that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of ways to do it. You just have to build it into your repertoire of what you do.
Absolutely.
And just never stop. And Bill, don't be so hard on yourself. I know that the one car garage thing, maybe you're not as diligent with it, but this podcast comes out on time every
week. Very true.
That is true.
And this is a perfect example of, churning it out on a schedule so that people expect it, and that they know you're there, and then they know you're active, and then you get more respect because they know you're a working artist.
And that's where the business and money thing comes in, because if I'm a company and I want somebody to promote my stuff or, make something for me or just show up, that's the best way to prove that you're reliable. And that's so difficult to get those two things together: creativity and being a free spirit, and enjoying life and keeping yourself in a state where you have the potential to have good ideas, because that's a lot. That's, you have to know yourself for that as well. You have to be a happy person, I think, and that is you have to take care of yourself. And then on the other hand, be strict with yourself, show up every day, work 12 to 16 hours, whatever, that's just two polar opposites.
Yeah, you kind of have to be everything.
Yeah.
People think that creativity is like a hobby, or it's just something it's fun. It's something fun that you do, and it should be fun. I agree, absolutely, Laura. But you have to constantly put stuff out if you want to get noticed. And the internet's a great way to do that. And we have access at this time in our lives to like millions and millions of people across the world. So why not take advantage of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are like you guys are in great spaces. Like Amy, you put out content so much. Like I don't go on Instagram a lot, but every time I go on Instagram, I see one of Amy's pictures. And I think that's incredible.
That's awesome.
Laura, I don't go on it. Like I said, I don't go on Instagram a lot, but I always see a post from you. And one of the things that when you were talking about like context and communication that I think is so good about you that I don't see with everybody who does do videos is like with your last video, or I don't know if it was your last video, but with the bike video,
the cup holder.
you had, with the cup holder, it was like, I need a cup holder. Like you're not making a product, and maybe you were, and that was just the way that you put it in context. But it was like, man, if I had a bike, I would like a cup holder too. And maybe I don't want to buy a cup holder. Maybe I can make a cup holder, So even as we move to do, because this is some of the things that I'm trying to struggle with right now, or not trying to, that I'm struggling with right now, because as I said, the reason why I'm trying to make this book is because I don't think that a lot of kids are exposed to, well, there's a specific group of kids who are exposed to STEM technology, right? And if you go places like Maker Faire, you see like they're the Indian kids, they're the Chinese kids, and then you have a lot of white kids, but there's not a lot of black and brown kids. And so thinking about that, how can you communicate something that is generally not communicated to those kids? And I'm trying to figure out like what is the most effective way to do that, while at the same time making it so that if you were to pick up a book or if you were to watch a video, you would get that same type of joy, that same type of achievement, that same type of excitement, right? As if there was somebody standing there next to you with their hand on your back telling you you can do it.
Yeah.
And that to me is probably the biggest challenge, because it's not about just making a book or making a project, right? It's about how can you make it sustainable so that even when nobody's looking, this is something that the kid thinks about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a super hard thing to pull off. So, I mean,
like I said, I'm struggling over here.
Yeah. And also, I mean, with the community continuity, different things have different rhythms. So you cannot put out a book every week, So that takes time. But you can post a picture to Instagram every day. And you cannot some people can make a video every day. I can't do that.
We don't like those people.
We're not trusting.
I can do like one YouTube video for my channel and a couple on the sides that I sell, but I cannot have content on my channel every day. Not even if I could, I wouldn't do it. So there's a rhythm to everything. So I guess, there's no reason to beat yourself up if you don't get that book done in 3 months or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes it takes 2 years or whatever. It's still, if you put out a book every 2 years, that's impressive. And that's continuity.
That is true.
And what I did with mine, and this is a good thing that you can think about doing, Jeff, is I released the illustrations one by one as I was making the book to my patrons that they could download at home and color. And then I would, release some of those to the public as well, so that it was like leading up to this idea that I was going to put it all together in a book. So you can put out section by section. And in terms of reaching out to the Black community and, the brown community, it's the same feelings that I have about women in this community. I mean, where are all the women? There's so many men out there. But I think with people like Laura, who are in positions where they're being seen and they're going to be on television, I think that's really ultimately how you bring in more people like that to your community, by having people that you can look up to. So Jeff, just by doing what you're doing and by putting yourself in the public sphere, you're going to see that more people will come out of the woodwork who maybe just didn't feel represented or didn't feel like this community was for them because they didn't see someone like them in the community.
Very true.
That's
kind of what you were talking about last week.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely it. Yeah. That's absolutely it. It's not that they're not there. It's just that because the market is so saturated with everybody else that we tend to get overlooked, right? And so really, it's like I kind of not compare myself, but I kind of try to think about how can I don't know if you guys are familiar with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah,
but you know, oh, you don't know? Well,
he's a scientist.
He's an astrophysicist.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Try saying that 3 times fast. But he's an astrophysicist, and just growing up, I remember thinking like, yo, the way he is passionate and the way that he communicates science is like nothing I've ever seen. Like I've never felt the same excitement from my science teachers in like 12 years of science class. Right. And so, I wanted to try and find a way that I can fit that niche for STEM education and robotics and stuff. Mind you, I'm no expert. I'm not even claiming to be an expert, but sometimes you need somebody to bridge the gap and put people in those positions so that they can say, hey, well, I don't know, but I know somebody who does. And so that's really kind of how I'm trying to penetrate the market. But Amy, I just want to give you credit. You've given me 2 ideas today. And you're on a roll. If you can give me one more, then we can get this trifecta
Okay, well,
going.
just think about the fact that just by Neil deGrasse Tyson existing in the public sphere, he encouraged you to think that you could be like Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is ultimately what you need to do to encourage other kids to want to be like you in the future. And we should point out, Carl Sagan was like the ultimate science communicator prior to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, that was his guy.
Yeah, and Carl Sagan encouraged Neil deGrasse Tyson along his way and met him when he was a young student in science and encouraged him to, make science. So I think if all of us just encourage younger people that are like us or maybe a little bit different from us and maybe overlooked, then we'll see a lot more people in the maker community and the science community and the STEAM communities going forward. So I think it's all great.
Yes. Unfortunately, that wasn't the third one.
No.
I wasn't the one.
I was just reiterating
There's no time.
we gotta find this trifecta, Amy.
I'll find a third
I'm
one.
counting on you.
Okay.
Sound like you're on a schedule.
No, I was writing them down. I'm like, goodness, this book baby, I've never heard of it before.
Bill, make him a whiteboard, would you? He needs a list.
Yeah, all right, I'll get on that.
No, but we could put that in the mail too, because actually, you can make a frame for the frame that I have, because my frame is kind of just regular.
Frame for frame.
Like my whiteboard already has a frame, but it's just the wood molding. It's not very interesting.
Oh, okay.
I love it though. It was a
You
gift from my
wanna
wife.
upcycle it.
Yes. So we can work. We could talk about that on another thing.
Yeah.
But getting back to communication and continuity. For me, when you were talking about that, the word that kind of stuck out to me was sustainability. Like sustainability for you, something that you can do. Sustainability from your viewership. Because if you think about it, when you said you can't put out a video every day, but if you could, you still wouldn't. Like they wouldn't be able to consume a video a day. They'd probably get tired of you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have, there are very few people who can pull that off. And I wouldn't want to be in that spot because knowing myself, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have enough freedom probably to maintain that happy personality thing and to have time to go out, meet friends, do different things than just being in the shop. And that's what I need to have, that magic creativity. So.
You got to give yourself time to let the juices flow.
Yeah, exactly.
The juices are already flowing. It's like, I don't know, like this juice might be a little bit on the down. And then next thing you know, I'm doing a down video. And then people like, I don't feel the same way about her. So then they just kind of move away from you. So I think if you could keep the juices flowing, then go ahead and do a video every day. But thinking about how you can sustain that magic, like you said, that's important. Because the magic is really what sells people.
Yeah,
the
and also,
communication thing is important too.
I want to do this, for as long as I can. So I don't want to burn the enthusiasm. It's such a hard word. I don't want to burn that out because I like to take my time with the shooting, finding angles. I like to take my time with the edit. And it's not that I'm, slowly, step by step, I'm working pretty hard on it, but still it needs time. I'm filming usually around 2 days on a project. So that alone, I can't put out a video a day. And that's cool too,
What is your process? Like, do you say, oh, this would be a cool project? Do you have like your next 5 projects already thought of?
No. I have a list with probably, 40 projects, and the list grows longer and longer and longer. And I never do those projects. I always pick the new ones. And sometimes I even I started a project and then I change my mind and skip it and start something new because I'm more excited about that.
Oh, so does it like just pop into your mind and you're like, oh, I would much rather do this? Or do you just feel yourself not having the magic with the one, and then you say, I got to figure something else out?
Well, if I don't feel the magic, then I don't start the project usually. But sometimes, I don't know, because I spend so much time alone, I have so much time to think. And then you sometimes come up with better stuff to do. And then I think, like, I always jump on it because it makes me happier to do the stuff that I really want to do. Even if it's choosing between two things that I really wanted to do, I do the one that I really want to do a bit more.
So
cool.
with your projects, do you have, and this is only because I haven't had the opportunity. I'm only asking these questions because I haven't had the opportunity to ask them in person. And so when you do your projects, do you have like are you going to have the Laura Kampf Museum with all your projects? Is that like the long-term goal, or is it like you make them and then you put them on a page and you're selling them?
No,
What is that?
I'm not selling them. It's super different in Germany to sell stuff because we have this carpenter master's degree that is protected, which is a good thing, but that prevents me, or I'm not allowed to. So you can come to me and say, I need a wooden frame for my whiteboard. I can make that for you. Maybe I could make a wooden frame, but not a bed, or a chair or something like that.
Ooh.
You have to have the master stuff. It's super complicated, and I started to look into it, and then I stopped after probably 30 minutes. And
Because you found something more fun to do.
Is that like an engineering degree that says like you have to be certified to say that these things are safe for people to use in order for you to sell it?
Kinda, yeah. You have the bachelor and then the master, but it's not in university. It's like an apprenticeship thing,
Okay.
and it takes years and years and years, which is good. I mean, that's why the Germans are so proud of their craft, because there are people who they spend 6 years just learning. So they know what they're doing, but it's exactly the opposite from what I wanted to do. I don't want to, and then like you spend all these years and then you're allowed to work with wood, but there's electricity, there's steel, there's...
Yeah, so you would have to go to another 6 years to be able to do that too? Oh, man.
I mean, it's a different system just, it's not for me.
I will say, America, we probably need some of those systems too, because I've bought some things from some people and made me question, like, yo, do you really know what you're doing, or are you playing me here? Yeah. No, but that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I don't know too much about it because it was clear from the beginning that this is not the road I want to take. And since I started this whole building stuff in my design school, it was always this one of a kind, I'm only going to build a prototype to see if it works or to communicate what my idea was to build a model, and then that's it. So I never had this thinking of, oh, this is super interesting for me to be more efficient with the material, to work out how do I make 3 chairs out of this piece of wood. That's not what's super interesting to me. So... yeah, and I said it many times before, when I finish the product, I immediately lose interest. That's it. Like, you can have it. If you want it, you can have it. I'm trying to fill up my shop a bit more with the old stuff so it looks more interesting and that people can recognize bits here and there. But, I mean... if you want to have it, you can have it.
I want to have all of it. Please send it to me. I will give you my address.
Christmas presents. I'll give them away for Christmas presents. Like, hey, I was thinking about you.
Krampus
I thought
presents.
it was incredible. Yes, Krampus presents. Krampus presents work. So that being said, so for you, the sustainability thing is even more important because you can't sell. I mean, you probably sell small things, but so like you're not going to be able to do things like Bill, where part of his streams of income are, client work. And so for you, it's even more important that you figure out how to communicate, how to get the continuity, sustainability going so that you have longevity in this thing. Yeah. Because there's going to come a point where you're not going to be able to go in the shop anymore. Hope that day never comes.
Yeah, but, but like I'm in this for not even a year, and there's so many opportunities already that I didn't expect.
A year is incredible, I have to say.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So that's why I'm sticking to this. It was my gut feeling from the start but it's what I studied. I studied communications design. So, okay, this is the one thing you know how to do, communicate well what you're trying to do, like stick to that. All the other stuff is just freestyle. And it seems to work. So that would be that's always my tip if somebody asks me, how do I start a channel? Try to melt it down to what you really want to say and then communicate that and stick to that message. Because that is what got you into the whole game to begin with. So that's like the core value. So you should keep that safe, protected, and communicated. Yeah.
Would you say that the reason why you had so much success in such a small amount of time? Because I'm not familiar with, the maker market in Germany and like how many maker YouTube video channels. Oh, really? Oh, well, would you say that, like, because like you said before the episode, you're going to Paris. You were just in New York. Like you're traveling.
Yeah.
So would you say that the international aspect is kind of what propelled you into that level of success so fast?
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like I'm on CNN here, like I'm doing an interview. Like, very.
Well, yeah, I think absolutely, because I think I made one project with a German company so far, and that's it. All my other money I make in America or in the UK. Now I'm traveling to France. I mean, it's Germany is far behind with the mindset of the whole content creation and influencer marketing. It's different here. There are a couple people understanding that, but it's just getting started. And usually, especially when you work with companies, it's so funny when you work with companies who are represented in Germany as well. Still, the Americans are faster and they seal the deal,
Wow. So that's
I guess there's even a Make magazine in Germany, like a German Make magazine.
Is it Make,
I reached
or
out
is
to
it like
them a couple times, and it's like, oh yeah, maybe someday we will call you back. Oh, it was the holidays. I don't know. And it's so frustrating. I don't want to do that.
Well, it's all about because doing stuff like that, you really got to kind of identify those things early, because you could spend a lot of time trying to be, solely getting these deals with Germany. And then next thing you know, nobody's calling you back and you're missing out on all these opportunities out there.
Exactly.
So that continuity aspect is important too. Just how can you make this one of those, things that doesn't take, we always talk about this. It takes not as much work, but you get the maximum result.
Yeah, I'm not there. I'm having the maximum work.
Oh, really?
But that's fine too. I'm willing to put the work in. I'm just starting, so I'm looking at this in a longer term, and I'm surprised that I'm already making money, and I'm willing to put the same amount of work that I did the last year for the next, 3-4 years, and let's see what happens then. But
I imagine it helps that you're actually starting to see a return for it, though, right?
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
mean, there's only so long you can work and get nothing back before you start going, maybe this was a stupid idea.
Yeah, I mean, it would have taken me much, much longer, because I always, I had to try to make some money on the side.
Yeah.
But I'm super focused on this right now and solely on this, and that helps me a lot to progress. Definitely.
Yeah. I'm actually something that you said. Wow, it was like 15 minutes ago.
I don't remember.
You said you'd rather have 10 bad ideas than one good one.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I want to bring that up again because I think it's really important. And it took me a long time to figure that out, because I found myself sitting there going, oh, what am I going to do next? It's got to be good, though. It's got to be really good. And I don't know how I got there, but I realized, like, it's not that the project has to be good. It's that you have to communicate it well. And I should know this because I'm a writer, but it's all storytelling. Everything is storytelling.
Yes.
If you're telling it, with video, if you're telling it with words, if you're telling it with music, it doesn't matter. It's just if you tell the story of whatever thing you're doing well, then it doesn't matter if it's boring. Like, I'm sure, you're going to meet Carlos in Paris tomorrow, right? Did you see that video where he made the chisel handle?
No, the last thing I saw was the mallet thing. Is it a new video or an older one?
It's slightly older, but I remember seeing that he made a handle for a chisel, but he turned it on the metal lathe, and like the way that he cut the video together was just I watched it like 3 or 4 times in a row, just going, wow.
I don't know how he edits. I don't understand how he edits, like the craft in his. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it was just so well put together. It was, it's a tool handle. You take a square piece and you make it round, and you stick the tool on it, and you're done. but he made it interesting. He made it really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I had this switch like went in my head. It's like, oh, I can do something that's boring. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as the video isn't boring.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the idea doesn't have to be, mind blowing. It's some really bad ideas can be super, super mind blowing because it's just as difficult to build the most uncomfortable chair in the world than it is to build the most comfortable chair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's sometimes it's so close to each other. And the last video I did with the cup holder talking about that because I knew I would get in trouble for cutting this stupid bike frame, but and this project probably doesn't make sense to anybody except for the few who really have a welder and this old bicycle and really want to have a cup holder there. It's not the super smart thing to do. Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
I don't have a bike. I haven't rode a bike in like 10, 12 years. And I saw that video. I was like, I want a bike just so I can do this.
But I think
I'm serious.
I really like the idea too, and that's one of those where I was in the middle of another project and I skipped it all to do this because I thought it was so cool. It's not the best idea in the world, but it's so inspirational to see somebody and just destroy something to build something else up and to go such a long way and not buy the plastic cup holder, which would have been so much easier. Also a lot more efficient, but I think that can be very cool to see. And some people get it and some people don't, and that's the way it is. But for me, this was a super healthy project to do.
And you said that you were going to get in trouble, and I'm sorry if this gets you in trouble, but could you explain that a little bit?
Oh yeah, from the safety people, from the bike people, yeah.
Oh,
from people, like I got so many links to plastic cup holders.
Like you didn't know that existed.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, that exists.
I had no idea.
We don't have that in Germany. We don't have plastic.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, here's your next video. You sit down at the computer, you order a plastic cup holder, and then the video shuts off.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like there, got what you wanted.
But that's fine too. Of course, those trolls are annoying. But I think at a certain point, it is really cool to see that you have if you have a video that you get a lot of trouble for, but you also got a lot of, I love this. This changed, I don't know, something for me. Or kids write you that they built something. It's not the cup holder, but a raft or something. It's cool to have this, both reactions. Then you know that you did something. Because if you want to have a perfect product, it will be super boring and nobody will have any reaction to it. Then you have a Big Mac or something. That's
No, but that's super interesting. I think when you talk about the communication thing, right? You were talking about doing something, protecting that, and if you were let's say you were to take that cup holder video, right? And you were to say, you know what? I understand that you guys feel this way, and that's going to impact, my next video. Like if you were to shy away from doing things that you knew in advance you were going to get in trouble for, that wouldn't be you. And then you wouldn't be protecting your your message, your mission. Yeah. So you kind of have to, at least for me, this is how I'm interpreting this conversation. If I know something is going to get me in trouble, I dang near still have to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have to just go for it and just take it and hope that, more people like it than not.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
If I know something's going to get me in trouble, it makes me want to do it more.
Yes.
Very true.
Everything gets me in trouble. Everything I do.
But that's the cool thing about building an audience. If you're doing stuff that people hate, they will not be your audience, and that's fine. So you're not building an audience of haters, You might not build an audience that quick, but you will build an audience, and that's cool. And that's one point I always try to make. It's so nice to have a lot of subscriptions, but that's nothing that you should pay attention to because it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything.
Very true. Oh my goodness. Yes.
So that's cool.
That makes me think about, like when I was first learning about how to use different Facebook and Twitter marketing tools, and you'd pay money and it would say you get all these organic views, and I'm like, yo, I'm not getting any type of any type of links or anything. So having subscribers means nothing if you can't monetize that.
Yeah,
having views means nothing if you can't translate that into money.
Exactly. And that's YouTube is not the only way to make money. with
true.
what you do. So even like knowing that, it's even more important to, do stuff even if you get in trouble for it or because you will get in trouble for it.
Yeah,
It's so
you
cool.
gotta
Yeah,
protect that message.
I kind of like this whole, because you don't depend on everybody. If people don't like you, that is fine. That's super fine. There's a lot of people that I don't like, and that's fine too. That's just personalities, and you don't have to watch my videos, and I don't have to kiss your ass to have you stay here. That's fine. But I'm super happy for everybody who stays, and I'm super happy for everybody who takes something out of it. But I mean, nobody likes the party poopers, and
Right.
That's fine. I hope I'm not getting too negative.
No.
Yeah, no.
I would rather have an audience of 50 people who really, really dig what I'm doing than 500 people who don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had both, you guys, and it doesn't matter. As long as somebody's talking about your work, the people that like it will find you. So it's actually okay if you do stuff that people really don't like. It's happened to me. I've had groups of people come at me for making work that has to do with being an atheist, or work that has to do with being a feminist, or work for the LGBTQ community, and I've pissed off a lot of people, and it's been great because that's how the message spreads. So really, it's okay.
Yeah,
stay
that's
true
true.
to your craft, stay true to your heart, and just make what you want to make, and keep doing it on a regular basis. And the people will find you.
Yeah, Amy, that's so true with your the little red bubble thing that you did for the She's a Nasty Woman t-shirts. Right. So you reached your goal, but then with the message, because people believed in the message, I forgot the name of the guy, but he went and matched. Well, I forgot how much he matched, but he went and did that.
Matched. Yeah, he matched. I had got, so really quickly, we talked about this in the last episode. I did a t-shirt when Trump called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman. And so I made shirts that said, nasty woman who votes. And I donated 10% of the profits to Planned Parenthood, a clinic that helps women with health care, and they also happen to perform abortions. And so I got targeted by a whole bunch of really hateful people that went after me for a week straight and just sent nasty images and horrible, horrible things that you never want to look at. But because that happened, another guy saw that and matched my donation 5 times. So I ended up raising $600 for this women's clinic instead of just 100. And it's because of all the people that hated it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, do what you believe in to be right and what you love to do. And I think that ultimately comes through, and you'll end up on top in the end.
Yeah. Protect that message. And make sure that you communicate it. Do it in a way that is sustainable. And don't be like me. Be better than Bill. Don't be like me, because I'm terrible. It's funny because I recorded the video, and I'm gonna put it out as soon as this podcast is over. But I recorded a little clip of my printer making the keychain. All right, I took pictures and all that, and I forgot to post it.
Oh my goodness.
I
do not even relate to that way of thinking.
I'm sorry.
I post so much stuff that I don't remember posting all the stuff.
It's funny. So don't be me. Be better than Bill, and strive to be like Amy and Laura. And that's the message. And if you do that, and I'm sorry, Bill, it was just, I didn't mean to put that knock on you.
It's cool.
But if you do that, if you follow those steps and you protect your message and you are focused, because you can have a message and it be all over the place too. So make sure that before you even try to send that message out, or as you're sending that message out, make sure that you're constantly refining your message and making sure it's the message that you want. And then after you have that, put it out there for the world. If they love it, they love it. If they don't, they don't.
And maybe one more quick thing about the hate thing, because don't confuse hate with critique. You need to stay open to the critique. Yes. Yeah, that is very important, because at the end of the day, if you think you're doing a great job communicating and nobody gets what you're doing, they will tell you, and that's not hate. Maybe that's just critique, and then you have to stay flexible and react to that.
Do you ever see that show Justified?
No.
Okay, first of all, it's really good. And I think that's going to be my recommendation. But it's okay.
It's okay.
But there's a quote in that show, and it's like, if you run into an asshole today, it's chance. If everybody you run into is an asshole today, it's because you're an asshole.
Yeah, it might be you. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's very
so
true.
let's wrap this thing up, because we've been going for like an hour.
Oh, wow.
I know, it flies by.
Yeah.
It does fly by.
Give Laura a few minutes to figure something out. Who wants to do a recommendation?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I can go.
Okay.
I have a really great recommendation for anyone out there that's into doing illustrations on their iPad Pro, like I'm super into. I've talked about this before. I've started every single night after I wind down from making the jewelry and stuff. I go hide somewhere in my house and I draw on my iPad, and I use an app called Procreate, which literally costs $4.99. So it's amazing if you can't afford to get one of those professional digital tablets that cost like $1,000. If you have an iPad, you can download Procreate. You do need the iPencil. That's the only thing. It's $100. But still, as an investment for doing illustration, digital illustration, it doesn't even come close to what it costs you to get a professional tablet, but you can get the same results.
Cool.
So what I found recently, during this past week, and I've become kind of obsessed with it, is there's all of these free brushes that you can download that other people using Procreate have created, and they will post them on message boards, and you can search for free brushes for Procreate. And while I was doing that, I found a really great set of brushes called Flora. And it's 91 brushes that you can get for free. The guy that created it, his name is Matthew Baldwin, and he asked for a donation. So I did give a donation before I downloaded it. But if you don't have any money, he'll still let you download the brushes for free. And they're all like leaves and bark textures and all kinds of like backgrounds if you were going to do any kind of landscapes, and it's just amazing. He put together all of these brushes that you can have for like $1 if that's all you can afford, and they're amazing. And the set again is called Flora, and we'll put a link to it in our show notes, and it's just super cool. And ever since then, I've been downloading all these other brushes. I just found some that have to do with stars and galaxies and stuff, and I love to draw stuff that has to do with astronomy, so I'm super excited. So check out those brushes. That's my recommendation.
All right. So my recommendation, kind of pick up where Amy left off. And I realize that I've been doing this a lot lately, but it's only because this is all I watch in my spare time. So I apologize if you're tired of hearing about astronomy. But I have been watching some YouTube videos by Michio Kaku. He's a theoretical physicist here in New York City. And he was talking about how, well, it's one of the theories that we used to have about the way that the moons of Mars were formed. And so the original theory was that the moons of Mars were actually were asteroids that were captured by the gravitational force of the planet Mars. And that was what was kind of understood to be the theory. But now we're kind of moving away from that theory. And now we think that it was actually caused by an asteroid that was smaller than the planet Mars that hit the planet and sent a piece of, Mars rock into space, and then it was captured, and then other rocks were coalesced and they formed the planet, or not the planet, but formed the moons of Mars. And that's actually the way that our moon was formed. And so, if you're interested, there you go. That's how the Mars moons and the Earth's moon were formed. And that's not how every moon was formed. It's just how some of them were formed. So if you didn't know that, now you know that.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. You should also check out on YouTube Phil Plait. He's a really great astronomer. I think I've mentioned him before, but he has some really fantastic videos. Just Google Phil Plait, the Bad Astronomer. He has some super duper awesome like astronomy 101 courses that can really get you going. And I think you'd really like that too, Jeff.
Yes,
so
I'm going to check him out.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to recommend this YouTuber who does these really like super creative projects. There's so much creativity. You may have heard of her. Her name is like Laura Kampf or something. I don't know. No, anyway, just I was looking down my recommendations list and I'm just going, you know what am I doing? Laura's sitting right here.
Well,
so
thank
if you are not familiar with Laura's work, you need to go check it out because seriously, I want to know what rock you've been living under so I can come visit. But
I sent that bike cup video to every bicycle friend I have and no one complained,
Sweet.
just so you know.
good.
Cool.
But yeah,
Well,
check out Laura's stuff.
Thanks. I actually thought about something that fits right into the topic. It's something that I learned about in design school, and it's a Japanese. I think it's Japanese design concept thing that is super weird. It's called Shindogu. I will send you a link, Bill. And it's the I don't know. It's so hard to explain because you are supposed to design an object that solves a problem, but actually creates more problems than it solves. And that is such a cool thing to think about because they have the craziest stuff like little shoes with umbrellas on the tips of them so your shoes don't get wet. And it doesn't make any sense. Nobody would wear it, but it's such a cool concept to think about. And they had a golf club with clothespins on it so you can practice your swing and dry your clothes at the same time. Like that. It's really cool.
I love it. I love that.
It's very cool. Shindogu. And then it's really hard to think about these objects because we're so used to coming up with stuff that's useful and then making something that's, useless on purpose. That's really cool.
I love it.
That's awesome. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah. That's great.
All right. So before we wrap this thing up, where can everybody find you?
Me? Also. Sorry. My website is laurakampf.com, and you can find everything on the side.
All right. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. No.
Every time.
Every time.
On Instagram and Twitter at more_4. And you can find me on Facebook at more4 with the F being the number 4.
You can find me pretty much everywhere as @surly-amy. If that's too hard for you, you can go to surly-ramics.com, and that's a portal to everything that I do.
And you can find all of my stuff at onecarworkshop.com.
Awesome.
Trying to keep it simple. So that's it for this week. If you're listening to the show on iTunes, please take a moment, leave us a rating, and tell us what you think. Again, I know how many people listen to the show. I've seen the analytics. I've seen how many reviews we have. Somebody out there is taking a nap, so get on it. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Makers Hustle. If you want to ask a question, give feedback, suggest a show topic, name the robot, suggest another guest host, or just, tell us how terrible we are at this, you can hit us up on social media or send an email to info@makershustlepodcast.com. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and while this show might be over, the hustle never stops.
Oh, I missed it. The hustle never stops.
See you next week.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Laura.
Bye.
You're so awesome.
Cool.
All right.
All right, we did it. Yay.